Welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to brand new video. Now, I hope we are having quality audio. In the earlier video, there was a problem. I don't know really what happened, but the audio was a little bit shaky and weird. I hope it's better. I hope you guys are all doing very, very well. Football is back. The international break is over, so we're not expecting any more injuries from international duty, unless otherwise. But all the European clubs, all the European nations that were participating in the UEFA Nations League, that concluded yesterday. So no more injury updates. We are only talking about who's returning, who's going to be fit for Spurs, and a couple of things like that. Of course, tomorrow I'll be doing my combined 11 for Spurs versus Arsenal. Let me know in the comment section because I want to do two of those videos. I want to do your predicted 11, your predicted combined 11. In the comment section of this video, not in the live section, but in the comment section of this video. I want to see which Spurs players currently get into the Arsenal side. Because for me, currently, apart from Manchester City, all the other clubs have to compare themselves to us. We are on top of the table. We've won more games. We've played better than any other side apart from Manchester City this season. We played attractive football. In my opinion, better than Manchester City's, by the way. We've tried to be as decent as possible. So I think we are better than many Premier League sides, right? So in the comment section, if you're watching this video on replay, if you're watching it live, let me know which players from Spurs get into the Arsenal side. When I will get that combined 11, and I will shoot a video out of it. And then I will do my combined 11 as a reaction to you people's combined 11. So we're gonna have two videos tomorrow, combined 11. That is if you get, you participate in the comment section. A couple of stories to dive into. William Gallas has said William Saliba is at the same level, is going to be at the same level as Rio Ferdinand. But the question is, will William Saliba get a senior defender, a top class centre back to learn from? We'll talk about that. Then, of course, Mykhailo and the Sun are saying that Douglas Luiz in January, Arsenal are preparing a £15 million deal. Arsenal, Mykhailo is very wary about Thomas Parker's fitness. And that is what Arsenal have decided. They will spend £15 million on Douglas Luiz in January. We'll talk about that as well. Newcastle have now identified themselves as potential bidders for Mykhailo Mudryk. £50 million is what they will be tabling for Shakhtar Donetsk in January. And I'll tell you why I think Arsenal will try to sign Lovro Majer in January as well. So I'm going to be diving into a couple of those. Hit the like button for me. Let's get this video to 300 likes. Subscribe to the podcast as well. We're very close to 60,000 subscribers. Now, let's start off with William Gallas's remarks around William Saliba. So of course we all know William Gallas. If you don't know William Gallas, you are a little bit, I don't know. I mean, as an Arsenal fan, you should know William Gallas, especially in the last 20 years. Been Arsenal captain, one of the players that have made that switch from Chelsea to Arsenal. I think those are the remarkable things we can talk about him. But Gallas, what I remember about him is him putting on that shirt number 10 as a centre back. I mean, it's one of those things that are never gonna go away. Dennis Bergkamp putting on that shirt number 10 and being one of the best playmakers in the world. And then years later, William Gallas putting on shirt number 10 at Arsenal as a centre back. It's one of those bizarre things and most interesting things that I've seen in my life, as an Arsenal fan. I think I've seen so many interesting things as an Arsenal fan, and I'm yet to see more as well. So Gallas has said William Saliba is has the potential of becoming the same great player as Rio Ferdinand. I mean, that's a very huge comparison. But I say the problem is William Saliba doesn't have a huge experienced centre-back to learn from. That is William Gallas on William Saliba. I think he's right here and a little bit wrong as well. I don't know. I could be right. I could be wrong as well. Because, look, Gallas is a centre-back. is not a generational talent, really. I can't say he was a generational talent, but he's one of those players that I think have gained that authority to speak on behalf of centre backs, to speak as a centre back, authoritatively. So he says William Saliba can become Rio Ferdinand. In my opinion, I think he can. You look at his speed, you look at his energy, you look at his willingness to learn, you look at his desire to come forward, press, and then create some impact in the final third. Already scored 2 goals for Arsenal in this campaign. You combine all that, and then you think about prime Rio Ferdinand. Of course, it is not easy a comparison. Prime Rio Ferdinand is one of the centre backs that I've seen in my life, and look, I think him, John Terry, Nemanja Vidic, and a couple of others, Kolo Toure, and the others, really defined what a centre back should be. Forget all these Diaz and Gerard Piqué revolution. That's kind of a revolution of new centre backs. But back in the day, the Premier League that we grew up watching, the Premier League we grew up saying, Rio Ferdinand was the true definition of a centre back. Strong in the air, strong physically. I don't know. I don't remember Rio Ferdinand having a as a centre back. Of course, you could score on a couple of occasions. I mean, Torres usually used to bowl them around. Messi as well usually used to bowl them around. But for me, Rio Ferdinand, one of the best centre backs I've seen. William Saliba, can he achieve that? For me, I think he's got the minerals, he's got the raw materials to build into such a centre back. Like I said, tall enough, dominant in the air, he's aggressive enough, his physicality is good, and he's also got that vibe around him that many centre backs do not have. That vibe of a centre back is gonna be who's gonna be great. Just like when I was watching Virgil van Dijk at Southampton, I thought this guy is gonna be good. This guy will be good, and eventually, he signs for Liverpool and he's graded as one of the best centre backs that we've seen in the Premier League. So William Saliba, for me, he can become that. The point of not having a mature centre back, a more experienced centre back like Kalidou Koulibaly, whether that will affect him negatively, is certainly a matter of time. But that's what I'm gonna say. When you look at players like Virgil van Dijk, when it comes at Liverpool, for me, there are not so many senior centre backs there for him to learn from. When it goes to Southampton, yeah, you might argue. I think they had the likes of Bednarek if he were there. I'm only thinking. I'm not even sure if he was there. But what I'm trying to say is that the lack of a mature centre back, the lack of an experienced centre back, alongside William Saliba, for me, will not stop him from becoming the centre back he's destined to become. I think you're gonna have these goalkeeper, these defender coaches around him. He's gonna pick up that experience on the national team as well. I think not having a centre back around him, honestly, I don't think it will negatively affect him. I think it adds a lot if you're playing alongside Thiago Silva. You're learning a lot from him. He's covering for your mistakes, and he's tutoring you. You're learning on the job. But William Saliba, for me, right now, is one of those centre backs that I'm gonna say, if I know the definition of learning from the job, I definitely know it, and he definitely knows it. He knows what it means learning on the job. So for me, look, good words from William Gallas. Let's hope Saliba becomes like Rio Ferdinand, because that definitely benefits Arsenal. Now, in the next story, Mykhailo from The Sun has released an exclusive, and he said Arsenal are set to go back for Douglas Luiz. They have already prepared a 15 million euro bid for Douglas Luiz, and they feel this is going to be enough. Now, Mykhailo, according to the story written by Irene, Mykhailo is skeptical about Thomas Partey's fitness issues, and he wants a quality cover. He wants a quality midfielder in January to help the squad. So this is what I think about this. Before we get into anything, I think Thomas Partey going out in November and December in the World Cup just warranties the Arsenal getting someone. Just warranties the Arsenal getting another player. Because if you think about all the other positions, apart from Granit Xhaka's, that I think Xhaka can play 38 games in the Premier League for you and for us, and there are no problems. All the other positions will need adequate cover, honestly. And so does Thomas Partey's position. Albert Sambilakonga, probably not the guy you want to provide that kind of cover, so you need to find in someone. So Mykhailo has written a story in The Sun, and they say that Arsenal currently have prepared a 15 million euro bid for the man himself, Douglas Luiz. We tried to get it in the summer done. We failed to get it done in the summer. Now we want to go back in January. Look, I'm gonna say I'm quite surprised at this one, and I'm gonna treat it with some degree of skepticism. And this is the reason. I think Douglas Luiz is a very good player, and I really love him. I rate him, right? But not to the levels of spending 15 million euros to buy his contract while it has 6 months less to go. I don't agree with that. I don't agree. And I don't think Arsenal are such a poor decision like the Sun are claiming, right? I don't think. Because our strategy, and this was explained by The Athletic, and as well the Ghana blog in The Athletic as well, saying Arsenal never wanted to spend huge amounts of money on players last summer, on players that we thought we could get for free in the next summer. That was prudent, that was strong, that was good. Because literally you don't want to buy a player's contract 1 year to its end date, and then you buy him for 40 million, for 50 million, unless that guy is totally worth it. It's the reason we didn't sign Yuri Tillemans. It's one reason we didn't sign Yuri Tillemans, coupled with his physicality issues, as reported by the Ghana blog. It's a reason why Douglas Luiz, the Douglas Luiz deal makes no sense currently. If Arsenal decide to sign Douglas Luiz for 15 million euros in January, I'll be disappointed. And not because we've signed a player in January. I'll be disappointed at for the fact that we didn't sign Yuri Tillemans for the same reason that Arsenal don't want to spend a lot of money on a player whose contract is running down. So spending 15 million euros on Douglas Luiz, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. For me, they wanted around 20 million euros in the summer. That's what we wanted to pay. That's what we were willing to pay. Around 25, if we are stretched enough. I think that is good. I mean, paying 25 million euros for that guy, that is absolutely okay. But now, while you can time down on a free contract, you can time to a pre-contract and get him for free and spend 15 million euros for me. No, it doesn't make sense. Actually, I'm preparing a story about the players that we should be looking at. This is where the Danilo deal makes a lot of sense. This is where the Danilo deal makes a lot of sense to me. And this is the reason as to why it makes a lot of sense. You want a long-term replacement for Thomas Partey. Danilo is that. You want someone to provide that kind of cover for Thomas Partey. Danilo is that. You want an understudy to Thomas Partey. Danilo can be that. And then you also want a player. You want someone who's going to be a little bit. You want a positive return on investment. I think Danilo would be a better investment than Douglas Luiz. Look, Luiz has played in the Premier League. Luiz has played under Mykhailo, has worked under Mykhailo, I think, for some short period of time at Manchester City. There are few advantages that come with that, and I agree. Look, I'm not totally against signing Douglas Luiz. I think he's an okay player. But the question is, does Douglas Luiz massively improve our squad? Does he massively improve our starting 11? Does he massively, improve Arsenal? I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. I think he's a player that comes in and pushes Arsenal over the line. Okay, like you get him if you can get him for free in the summer, or you get him for 8 million euros, 7 million euros, 7.5 million euros in January. that is absolutely a very good deal, right? Because I'm not really saying Arsenal should only be doing bargains. I'm also saying that, honestly, thinking about it, Douglas Luiz is not worth 30 million euros for me. He's not worth that because he doesn't massively improve us. He doesn't massively improve our starting 11. If I have Samuel Lokonga and Mohamed Elneny and I bring in Douglas Luiz, I won't be like, oh, why is Douglas Luiz sitting on the bench while Mohamed Elneny is playing? Douglas Luiz is so miles clear of Mohamed Elneny. No, I don't think. So, for me, if Arsenal are going to spend upwards of 20 million euros, actually of 15 million euros, that is when we start thinking of real quality. That is when we start thinking about real players. Edson Alvarez at Ajax. That is when we start thinking about such prospects. Moises Caicedo at Brighton. That is when we start talking about those players. But in January, if Arsenal decide we're going to sign one player, and that guy is going to be Douglas Luiz for 8 million euros, for 7 million euros, for 10 maximum, 10 million euros in January. Because we are desperate. I know we will be desperate in January. We'll be short in January, and we will need someone to come and provide that immediate cover for a tiring Thomas Partey who will have played with Ghana in the World Cup. And look, I'm not sure where Ghana will finish. I'm more concerned with where Spain will finish than where Ghana will finish. But if Ghana make it out of the group stages, that is where the worry is. But if they cannot make it out of the group stages in the World Cup, there is nothing to worry about for Arsenal fans. As long as Partey can play those 3 games without picking up an injury, and they don't make it out of the group stages, in my opinion, I think they will not. Honestly, I think the African country with a better chance is Senegal than Ghana. I'm only saying Ghanaians don't get angry. So if Thomas Partey can stay fit throughout the World Cup, he's gonna have that kind of duration to rest. 26 days, 25 days in December if he's not going to play in the World Cup, and then a few days in November as well. So I think he will be fine, in my opinion. I think Partey will be fine. You just need someone to provide that immediate cover, that immediate quality. And the article actually points clearly that Mikel Arteta's big scare is with the injuries Thomas Partey is picking up. That is what he's scared of. He's looking at this and is going, I need someone to cover for Thomas Partey. I need a player to cover for Thomas Partey. Is Douglas Luiz the best candidate? No. Because I can name 10 defensive midfielders that are better than him and would cost around 45 million euros. Ibrahim Sangare, PSV, Edson Alvarez, Ajax. I think he would make a very, very good player. I was about to say Benjamin Sesko. Benjamin Sesko is not a defensive midfielder. Actually, I wanted to say Seko Fofana as well, linked with Arsenal last summer. I think he would do a very fantastic job. Ruben Neves as well. Moises Caicedo as well would do a very, very good, fantastic job for Arsenal. In my opinion, there's so many players out there that you can, mention, and they will do a great job for us. Sander Berge, the Norwegian that plays alongside Martin Odegaard for the Norway national team. We wanted him. I think there was last summer, but one. So there's so many players that I think would be good value for money, right? There will be good value for money than Douglas Luiz. That's why I think Luiz should only be signed by Arsenal as a rare opportunity. 5 million euros, just like Zakaria signed for Juve. Can you believe Denis Zakaria signed for Juve for around 3 to 5 million euros? That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. So if Arsenal is saying we're signing Douglas Luiz because he's available for 3, 4, 5, 7 million euros, that's a good deal. You know why? Because for me, I don't see him as a long-term big thing for Arsenal, and he's only 23. You can easily sell him to another club, and that depends. That club brings in 15 million euros, right? You are making double the, you're doubling, you're doubling the price, and making 7.5 profit. You can sell him for 20. You can sell him for 30 million euros. He's still young, but for me right now, his contract has 6 months. Arsenal should not offer that much for this guy. Mark my words, honestly. Now, let's talk about Mykhailo Mudryk just for a moment as well. Newcastle are now leading the race to sign Mykhailo Mudryk. They're technically not leading this race, but they have prepared a £50 million deal for Mykhailo Mudryk, and that automatically puts them in first position. That puts them in a better position than Arsenal. So Mykhailo Mudryk, of course, he wants to play in the Premier League. He's prepared to go away from Ukraine, come to the Premier League, have a better challenge, have a bigger challenge. Arsenal is one of the clubs interested. We know a couple of other clubs are also interested. So Newcastle have now positioned themselves in a very, very good way. Whoever is doing transfers, whoever is pulling the plugs and the strings for Newcastle is doing a great job. Whoever is pulling the strings is doing a very, very great job. They have decided we don't have a very strong scouting network right now. We're going to wait for Arsenal. We're going to wait for Leeds. We're going to wait for all these other clubs to point fingers. And because we have the money, we're going to spend our money very, very smartly. I think Isak was a very good signing. I think Mykhailo Mudryk would be a very good signing for them, and I think Steven Botman is another very good signing, and Nick Pope is a fantastic signing as well. So if they get Mykhailo Mudryk, it adds a lot of significance. It adds a lot of relevance to the project, because Alan Saint-Maximin on one side, Mykhailo Mudryk on the other, Alexander Isak down to the middle. That is a fire attack. That is a fire front line. But can we beat Newcastle to Mykhailo Mudryk? I think we can, right? But this is the reason we can't. I think Arsenal is skeptical about investing over 50 million euros or pounds, depends on the currency that we'll be using, in a 20 or 19-year-old. So Mykhailo Mudryk, that is the problem. Arsenal love him, they appreciate him, but they're only willing to offer around 35-40 million euros. Now Shakhtar have already seen it. Many clubs are interested in their talent, and all the outlets, everyone, UEFA Champions League, and everyone is helping them market Mykhailo Mudryk. He's only scored 2 goals only in the UEFA Champions League, but you can already see the hype around him. Right? So the more he's marketed, the bigger the market and the higher the price. So Newcastle could be coming in with 50 million in January. I think it's hard money for Shakhtar to turn down, right? And I was gonna say this about Shakhtar, that I want to see if they can turn down 50 million euros for Mykhailo Mudryk. I want to see that. That's all I want to see. Can they turn down 50 million euros for Mykhailo Mudryk? They can. But can Arsenal pay that? I don't think so. I don't think we're going to part with 50 million euros for a 21-year-old playing in the Ukrainian, is it Premier League? Is it Super League? In the Ukrainian League, and I scored 2 goals in the UEFA Champions League. I don't think. Right? I don't think. If he were English, I think we would have, because you look at Ben White, 1 season at Brighton, 1 season in the Premier League. Yes, bring him in. He's done well. Splash the 50, okay? But with Mykhailo Mudryk, I don't see that happen. Now, it's a transfer we can win. It's a battle we can win. One, we have to convince the player 100%, and I think the player is 100% convinced about the Arsenal project. You have Alexander Zinchenko, one of the outlets you can use to talk to the guy, try to tell him more about your club, and convince him. So I think Mykhailo Mudryk convincing and the personal terms would not be a problem. Remember, we had agreed personal terms with him in the summer, and that shows the interest the player has in the project. That shows the interest the player has with with this Arsenal side. And remember, and he also did an interview where he said, "I can't turn down Arsenal. I cannot say no to Arsenal right now. I'm not there. I just can't say no to Arsenal." I think many players would not just agree, but right now it is hard to say no to a club like Arsenal. Clear vision, clear manager, clear squad, clear future. You can join this project and become a star. You can join this project and decide to move on and join a bigger club. So for me, for both categories of players, if you want to come at Arsenal and thrive and become a success in the next 10 years, this is the right destination. But if you want to come to Arsenal and spend here 3 years and find a bigger club, this is again the right destination for you, because I don't think Arsenal will stand in the way of any player who says, "I want to move on. I want to go to Madrid. I want to go to Bayern. I want to go to Juve." I think we will let them go and we'll collect the cash and replace them, very, very well. So, Mykhailo Mudryk to Newcastle. Do I see that happen? It's Newcastle. They have the money. Although their project is still growing slowly, and I think that has been kind of worked on by the Premier League and a couple of other restrictions. Their squad should be growing a little bit faster in terms of quality than that. But I'm okay. I'm happy. I'm extremely happy with the way the squad, their squad is developing. You don't want them to be developing at a terrific speed to catch up with Arsenal. We should win a Premier League title before Newcastle win one. We should win a Premier League title before Newcastle finish in the top 4. We should win a Premier League title before Newcastle qualify for the Champions League. We should win a Champions League final before Newcastle make it to their first round of 16 in the UEFA Champions League. Honestly, it will be utterly embarrassing to see Newcastle win their first Premier League title while Arsenal is still waiting. Win their UEFA Champions League title while Arsenal waiting. It will be totally embarrassing. So, Mykhailo Mudryk, I think now this means war between Arsenal and Newcastle. The first one, we desperately lost that one to Bruno Guimaraes. And I've seen a couple of shit journalists claim, well, Arsenal never wanted Bruno Guimaraes as a priority. Why don't you shut up? We wanted him. He was a player we wanted. We had held talks with Lyon. The only thing we did is we didn't make our intentions clear. I don't know whether we are kind of timid with negotiating with Lyon. We are terrified about the idea of negotiating with Jean-Michel, because it's a very, very hard guy, tough guy. But we lost that. We definitely lost that, right? So the last one, I've seen Football London writing about this. We've talked about Lovro Majer in the morning show. So I think it was in the afternoon, and they're saying Arsenal are preparing again another bid for Lovro Majer, especially if should we fail to get Douglas Luiz. Now, Lovro Majer has been looked at as the new Luka Mudryk. Everyone talks about him as the next big thing in Croatian football and the Croatian national team. Playing at Rennes, 10 assists in 39 appearances for the team so far and around 6 goals. Not bad. 16 goal involvements in over 40 appearances for Rennes. Not that bad. Not really that bad. You can see he's got that creative spark around him. He's got that creative vibe around him. But are Arsenal looking for a central midfielder urgently, or are we looking for a defensive midfielder urgently? I think we are looking for a holding midfielder, stroke defensive midfielder urgently. So Lovro Majer for me, one that can be done in the summer. If Arsenal believe we want a central midfielder, we want someone who can fit in better than Xhaka, someone who can replace Xhaka, and that is Lovro Majer. Deal for the summer, not deal for January. So that's it for me. I think we can see much of your thoughts in the comment section. Couple of stories, of course, moving around the club, so I'll make sure that we discuss all of them. Hit the like button for me. We are very close to 60. Hit the like button, people. Hit the like button for me. Very, very close to 60. Massively appreciated if you could do that for your boy. Let's get this video to 100 likes while we're live, and of course after we are live, let's get it to 300 likes. Okay, let's see what you people are saying in the chat. Emmanuel says, hi, Cossy, chatting from Nigeria. Hope you're doing well, Emmanuel. Fode says, Cossy, we need backup players. If not, I am sorry. You know that beat of, if not, I am sorry, speaks a lot. It massively says a lot, to me. Look, I think this Arsenal side, and we'll have these debates, but this Arsenal side is 2-3 windows from where we want to be. Honestly, 2-3 transfer windows from where we want to be. I think January, if well utilized, then the next summer, if well utilized as well, that will make Arsenal title contenders now, right? Next summer makes us title contenders, and then the January transfer window after that determines whether we can win the title, in the next campaign. So for me, I think backup players still needed, but no need to rush. We still have a few windows to deal with. Maggie James says hi. How are we doing, Maggie James? Hope you're doing well. Aman says, Mr. Hi, Cossy, thanks for the program. For me, I just want enough scores. You want goals? Is it goals that you want? And look, I think our attack is not yet at the levels of Liverpool. It's not yet at the levels of Manchester City. If you look at Martinelli, not yet able to give you those 16, 17 goals you want per campaign. You look at Saka, not yet able to give you those 20, 25 goals that you think is capable of. And then Gabriel Jesus, of course, is capable of the 20s and the 30s as well. But I think we'll get there. Honestly. Hope I'm right. Glenn says, hello, bro. Long time, Glenn. Hope you're doing well, bro. Hope you're really doing well. Hope you're doing well. Mohammed says, I beg you to get a better mic. Is the audio still not fine? Well, I thought I had worked on that. I really thought I had worked on that. I'll try to check my audio, honestly. I'll try to check my audio. Okay. Eric says, hi, watching from Kenya. Hope you're doing well. Moses says, listening in from Uganda. Peter says, good evening, Cossy. Fade says, Cossy, easy deal for Telemans for £25 million. What Arteta and Edu are waiting for. I think if you want to go for Yuri Telemans now, he's not even £25 million now. In January, I think 15 for Tielemans. Is it overrating him again? Probably 12 million euros for Yuri Tielemans in January. That should do the deal. Yeah, 12 million euros for Yuri Tielemans in January. That should definitely do the deal. I don't think. I think it would be overrating him. I really think it would be overrating him. Well, but I feel the mic is alright. Tell me if the sound is not alright, guys. Talk to me in the comment section. Is the sound alright? Is it better than the first video that we did today? If it's alright, let me know, because I feel I'm listening to it and I feel it's alright. Glenn says it's okay. Yeah, Glenn says it's okay. But of course, I'll get a better mic. I think there are better mics on the market. Sleman says, I think the management needs to back Arteta up in the coming window, in every window. That's what big clubs do. Haaland for Manchester City, Kevin De Bruyne for Manchester City, Rodri for Manchester City, Ederson for Manchester City. They just back their managers in every window. They just buy players for their managers. If you want to become that big club, now listen. There is a story I've not talked about. This is the story. Stan Kroenke is thinking about creating a multi-club system where, just like Manchester City's, where Arsenal would own Arsenal. He would own Arsenal, then own a club in France, own a club in Belgium, own a club in Germany, own a club in Saudi Arabia, and like that. Like, they want to create that kind of, multi-club system. But to do that, for me, you must have a huge, successful club at the top, like Manchester City have. So if Arsenal want to become that Manchester City, you must back your manager, not just next summer, but every summer. It's clear, bro. Thank you so much. Nebat. Sasa says, thanks, Cossy, for giving us the updates about Arsenal. This is my first day of comments on your program. Suleiman from Salarion. Big up, all the love from Salarion. Love you guys. Love you so much. Edward says, sound is excellent. All right. All right. I'm happy we've solved that. I'm really, really happy we've solved that. Cossy, we need backup players. If not, okay, I'm sorry. Well, make sure you check out my YouTube channels. I have a couple of them. 90 more. I think tomorrow I'm having the Manchester Derby. Sorry. I'm having the Arsenal Spurs preview on the 90 more podcast on YouTube. Make sure you watch it. Make sure you check it out. And I've also done every best player for every team in the Premier League. I've done that video. It is airing tomorrow. I'll share it on my community. And guess what? I don't know who has been Arsenal's best player this campaign. Guys, talk to me. Just as we close the stream. Who has been Arsenal's best player so far? Is it Xhaka? Is it Gabriel Jesus? Because I kind of froze when I was doing that video. I thought it is Xhaka, but then the numbers Gabriel Jesus has put in ever since signing for Arsenal are just so clear. They're just mind blowing. 7 goal contributions in 7 games. That means he has a goal contribution per 90 for Arsenal. It's mind blowing, and you look at the way he helps Odegaard and all the other players around him. The way he is kind of the glue to the team. I thought Gabriel Jesus is the best player so far, but I kind of felt like I cheated Xhaka. Talk to me in the comment section right now. Talk to me. Who is our best player so far? Best player, Xhaka, Glenn says Saliba, Xhaka, and Jesus. Okay, that is quite a big sample space, right? Talk to me, guys, in the comment section. I want to take 10 of you, right? 10 of you. We have 2. I want to take 10 of you. 3 now. And Glenn says this topic needs a video in itself. Honestly, yeah, it needs a video in itself. Honestly, true that. Frank says, I think it's Jesus. I mean, if someone went for Jesus, I can argue. If someone went for Xhaka, you can't argue, can you? Because he's literally shifted from the Arsenal everyday guy to critique to Arsenal's best player. I mean, the fact that he's already in this conversation is already mind blowing. Okay. Maggie James says we want to sign the song we hate. That's easy. Okay. Okay. Mohamed Silmani says Gabriel Jesus, but they Okay. Silmani says Gabriel Jesus, but the hidden toes have been Yakubu Partey and Saliba. Okay. So Suleiman says Gabriel, best player. Two big mentions, Saliba and Partey. Okay, I don't agree with you on Thomas Partey. Okay, Favor says Xhaka has been the best player. Sese says, trust me, Cossy, the game in the weekend, Arsenal versus Spurs. My prediction: Arsenal 2, Spurs 1. It's at the Emirates Stadium. I don't think Spurs do have a lot of joy at the Emirates Stadium. That's one thing that we'll have to consider. Yeah, they don't have a lot of joy. But of course, catch me tomorrow. We're having how to beat Tottenham Hotspur. That video will be premiering tomorrow. In the afternoon, we'll be doing our combined 11s. Make sure in the comment section you're telling me who makes it into the combined 11 Arsenal Spurs best on current form. That video will be premiering tomorrow as well. I'm gonna say good night. Follow me on Instagram, Cossy_19, on Twitter, Cossy Arsenal, and of course on TikTok, Cossy Talks Football. See you very, very soon. Have a blessed night.